Hey everybody, glad to see you back. Day 20, kind of a big day, huh? Have a sip of coffee. So, tomorrow's the last day that we're going to do this together. After that, I'm going to be the Monday, Thursday, Friday guy because everybody's got something else going every other day of the week. Lots of preachers have their sermons on Sundays, and some pastors have it a Saturday night service, and most people do something on Wednesday or Tuesday. So a friend of mine and I are going to try to be your Monday, Thursday, Friday guy. But until then, we got 2 more days of this Bible study and then 1 more question and answer period we got going on. And today's verse is Romans 12:21. Those of you who know my friend Chabi, he is missing, but this was his favorite verse as well. We used to talk about it, whether or not we thought God would ever really forgive us for what we'd done, because we'd done some stuff in our lives, and not like Jimmy Church Shirt, who, got up on the roof one time when he was a kid, and the sheriff's department got called, and it was a big thing, and he knew he was never going to sin again. We went a little harder than that. But Romans 12:21, because we've talked about some of the other stuff. We talked about how, well, first of all, we believe in God, and then we know God sent his son. And we also know that there are going to be people who attack us in life. There are going to be people who don't like us just because we're Christians. And not to be ungrateful, we're going to show our gratitude and try to do the Lord's work. And while we're doing that and we're getting attacked, we're going to have on the full armor of God, right? So if we're going to do all that and we're going to have everything going for us, we have to remember at least one thing. Probably you sports ball guys, if you weren't in the military, here's a sports ball reference. So any coach, when I used to coach, I did the same thing. I coached soccer, but football, that kind of, not with the throw it with your hands, but the football with your foot. So when I used to coach that, I would also tell my guys, if the other team was cheating, I'd have like guys that were really, really good. And so I'd send them in. And, even if they're cheating, you want to tell your guys, hey, look, we're going to go out there and we're going to try harder. We're going to overcome their cheating by being better players. So in Romans 12:21, goes something like this: be not overcome of evil, but overcome evil with good. So just like coach tell you, get out there and just play a better game. That's it. That's what it's all about. Because doing the wrong thing, if you try to overcome things with evil, now most of us that I know have had an escalation of force issue sometime in their life, and a lot of times when someone would yell at us, we'd yell something worse. Or if they'd punch us, we'd kick them. Or if they kicked us, we'd hit them with something else. An escalation of force. And sometimes by doing the wrong thing. And so when you're out there and if you're doing the wrong thing and trying to overcome evil by being more evil, it just doesn't work. So God is the only thing that can overcome evil. And so we want to remember that. Romans 12:21. Be not overcome of evil, but overcome evil with good. And the devil, we talked about that too, how the devil's going to start attacking you. And the more good you do for God, the more people that will be against you, and the more situations that will attack you, the more obstacles that will come in your way. So if those obstacles are going to be there, and you're going to have those obstacles, we want to make sure that we are doing exactly what we need to be doing according to God's will. So how do we do that? We know we can't stop sinning on our own, right? We can't stop anything on our own, but God can help us through it. So once again, we want to turn to God in prayer. And when people upset you, it does happen. It just happened to me. So when we're done with this video, that little tree, the skinny one that comes out into a Y back there, but my neighbor was out here. He was saying he had a tree service out and he wanted to cut down that tree. And I said, well, there's a debate as to whether or not whose property it's on, first of all. And he kind of got a little aggressive towards me. And I said, sir, if you would like, I will cut down that tree for free and you don't have to have a tree service do it. He said, I didn't think you wanted to cut down. I said, I didn't, but I'm a good neighbor, so if you're adamant about having it cut down, I would rather cut it down for you than have you have to pay a tree service to do that. The tree service that was advising him to cut it down because it was diseased, and I also pointed out the tree's not diseased, it's winter time, and it has a nick in it that it's healing from. So that's it. Nothing wrong with the tree, but he doesn't like that skinny tree, and the reality is it's the first time I've talked to him in 7 years. I've tried to make conversation with him. He does not like me at all. So I've just tried to be a good neighbor and help him out and clean off my stuff out of, don't let anything get into his yard and those kind of things. I don't trespass, those kind of things. So I've just tried to be a good neighbor, and the guy, he absolutely does not like it, and that's okay. But I'm not trying to be a worse neighbor to him. I'm trying to overcome that little evil that he likes to throw out there with good. And what do I always tell you guys? At the end of every single one. That's right. Love God with all your heart and love your neighbor as yourself. Even if he wants you to cut down a tree that there's nothing wrong, and even if it's on his property or my property, even if he wants to sue me and do all that, no, I'll just cut down the tree. Love your neighbor as yourself.